Hi guys, welcome back to another video. I'm so happy I got called to one more interview today, and I have three things this week that are like work interview type of meetings. So now I thought I think it paid off for me to sort of take a break because I've been getting some results. I just thought I would give you some recommendations today on full bottle worthy fragrances according to me. And these are my full bottle worthy fragrances that I define as like easy reaches, very versatile. They fit whatever I'm going to do. They like always work. They might not be the same for you, but like I guess the underlying advice here is that the 100 ml bottles in your collections should probably be of perfumes that you use a lot, and perfumes that you wear very seldom. Maybe it's enough with a decant or a smaller bottle. That was kind of the idea behind this video. But before I get into that, I just like to comment yesterday's video. Thank you so much for all the feedback. I do appreciate the positive as well as the negative, and maybe I am a little bit harsh to some people. I mean, I don't think I've thrown any real hate on anybody, but I am on the hunt for reviewers that spend their own money on fragrance, and I was so happy to find Ramsey because that's exactly what he said he wanted to do. That was why he started his channel, because he found that the reviewers out there are trying to get us to spend money on fragrance that they themselves would not spend money on. And now he's kind of started, his channel is growing. He's become friends with people that, sell vintage perfumes. They've started sending him gifts, and now it's suddenly okay. For me, that doesn't quite, he's not quite following his own principles. And I just kind of wanted to point that out. Doesn't mean he's all bad. I think he's a great reviewer, super entertaining, super knowledgeable about perfume, and especially vintage perfumes. And I mean, he can really talk about one perfume for like a good 45 minutes, and there's like quality content the whole time. So nobody's all bad, and I'm not all good for sure. And I mean, Clemence, I think, is very charming, and I do admire that she's so transparent about her kind of standpoint when it comes to influencing and receiving gifts. She says people can send her anything, but she will never sign a collaboration agreement saying that she has to create content on something about a fragrance because she's been sent it for free. So they're free to send her whatever, but she is not going to oblige to create any content, and not, she will say negative things if she wants to, which I think is good. And I mean, if she, I mean, she's in the business. I bet this is how she makes her living, right? I'm just guessing that she doesn't have another job. I mean, she's professionally trained in perfumery, which I'm not. I just have opinions basically, and I've been learning, and I'm sharing what I'm learning. But she has something else to offer for sure. And I think her content is really beautifully made, and I like her. It's not that, so it's not like I'm trashing her or anything. But someone asked me why am I looking for negative things? Well, it's just mostly like a little check. I want to see, is there anything negative in the content that she puts out, or that an influencer puts out? Because if there's nothing negative in there, then I can't quite trust the positive. That's the way I feel about it. And so I'm kind of like, I appreciate videos like, these are perfumes I'm decluttering and why. These perfumes have really bad performance, or, just letting us know that there are some disturbing notes in a perfume, or if the bottles, the atomizers break. I have an example of that today in today's video. Just things like this, so we get the entire picture. That's what I'm looking for. So I really don't want to, point anyone else out as being bad. And I think that, Clemence is definitely not saying she is one thing and then being another, which I do think Ramsey is, for example. Another influencer or reviewer that I do find that I trust is Delicious Delights, and she has a huge number of subscribers, like almost 40,000. And she often reviews from samples. She doesn't show up fancy bottles very often. She's sitting with a little strip. She sits down. She's just really, really down to earth. And even though I don't consider her one of the most like entertaining reviewers to watch, I think what's really made her successful in terms of how many subscribers she has is that she reviews everything. Like, she has produced so much content, so many videos. She's got like way over 1,000 videos out there. So she has really worked, and she does these videos. She has basically reviewed everything. And I do find that that's a way to go as well. And to just be very, very consistent and very, you know, you put things out regularly, and she's got her following, and she will tell you the truth. This isn't just my impression. If she doesn't like something, it's pretty obvious that she doesn't like it. So that was one person that kind of came to mind. I think her name is Arlene, and I'm not quite sure where she's from, but she has, I think maybe she's from Canada. I'm not quite sure. Anyway, today's video is going to be about full bottle worthy fragrances that are easy reaches, that always feel right. And I'll just start by the one that I'm wearing today. This is Honor by Amouage. And even though I love it, it's a white floral fragrance where none of the white florals like stand out and is like, it's not like dominant, tuberose dominant or gardenia dominant or jasmine dominant. It's kind of like a whole bouquet of white florals. And there's a rhubarb note in the opening that I thank God don't get so much of. Rhubarb is a little bit of a tricky note. You can find rhubarb in, I think, Cockatiel from Zoologist, which I really didn't like at all. And then where I did like it, though, however, was in Electro Limonade from L'Orchestre Parfums, which is a beautiful citrus opening. And I do actually quite like the dry down, but I ended up giving that away because I just never reached for it. It was just a little bit too odd to like wear two things. And I didn't find that spectacular opening stayed. That's what I liked most about the fragrance. This is just a really, really nice, feminine, easy reach. It has kind of this typical Amouage base with like some incense. I'm not quite sure what else is in there. A little bit of vanilla maybe. It's just so easy to wear. It's nice and bright. It's fresh. Sometimes I use it also to like lift if I'm wearing something. Maybe I wore like a little bit of a heavy amber like a few hours ago, and I feel it's a little bit too dark. I can lift it up with just spraying a little bit of this over the top. I love it, but don't pay full retail for this is my recommendation, because you can find these at discounters. I'm sure it's the same in your countries too. They can be marked down quite considerably. Like if you buy it at Javoy, they're going to charge you a lot. But if you find it online, you could find it a lot cheaper. And just, I think a general rule when you buy perfume is to like, when you want something, you first tell yourself, I can have it, but not today. I'm going to wait. And sometimes when you wait, the urge will disappear. But what might also happen is that you'll find it at a cheaper price. You just start keeping your eyes open for it. Put your radar on, and you might find it secondhand. You might find it on sale at a discounter. So that's one. This one I've actually had for many years. It's called Dajala, and it's from Xerjoff, and it's a beautiful green-leaning kind of herbal amber fragrance. But it's not like a full-on balsamic, you know, like, what's it called? Resinous perfume. There was some resin in here, but it's more, I find this more floral, but it has a really nice base, and it has galbanum in the top, which I really, really love. And it's not as sweet as like JTC 400 or Opera or Overture, or like that typical Xerjoff base that's quite vanillic and sweet. This one doesn't go all the way there. This is quite pricey though. This particular line, I mean the JTC, the blue line, Join the Club collection is a lot cheaper than these, unfortunately. But I love this so much, and I find it a very easy reach. I think maybe my favorite fragrance in my whole collection is this one, Iris Prima from Penhaligons. It's a beautiful iris leather fragrance, which, it is so smooth and soft. It's right. It's exactly in the middle of feminine and masculine. Oh, it's like the soft, it has no of that heavy leather, like a sourness. It's like, it's not animalic. It's like a soft suede. I love this fragrance so much. It always feels right. It projects really well for an iris fragrance. If you can't find it, I recommend Bottega Veneta from EDP for her, which is quite similar, or Cuir d'Orient from Sous Manteau, which is a beautiful kind of a powdery, leathery iris kind of fragrance. It's also very beautiful. It reminds me of this, and I have a travel size of that, a 14 ml, which is really nice to have as a little backup bottle for that. Then I have my new Chanel No. 5 Eau Premiere. It's a flanker for Chanel No. 5. And it's much easier wear. It's not as quite as soapy and aldehydic. It's not as sharp. It's just kind of a sparkly floral, beautiful, and has kind of a little bit of sandalwood and vetiver and vanilla in the base. I think it has rose, ylang ylang. It's just really, really nice and bright. I might actually wear this for my interview this afternoon. It just feels like a really easy, safe, nice reach. But I wouldn't pay full retail for this. I got this for less than half price. I think they're charging a little bit too much. I think full retail is about, for 50 mil is like, let's see, $130 maybe, something like that. Too much. And then I have my new Angelique from Papillon Artisan Perfumes. Was created by Liz Moore, who is also the founder of this house. And this is kind of reminds me of Lost Alice, but Lost Alice is not an easy reach, and this one is. And it's because Lost Alice is so lactonic. It's like a black tea gourmand fragrance. But they do have in common orris butter. That's kind of, I mean, iris, like orris, it's super, super light. This one is buttery, but I don't think it feels lactonic. And it's powdery. It has mimosa. It has some olibanum. It has, I think, champaca, which I'm not super familiar with as a note, but this is really, really pretty. It doesn't have as high performance as Lost Alice, but sometimes you just want that. You don't want to have that big, you kind of want to maybe just be able to enjoy it yourself. And then maybe if someone comes close, they'll get a little hint of something. That's when you wear this Angelique. Love it. And I was not a fan of mimosa. But this one, oh God, I really, really love it. Let's see, what else did I want to mention? Vixere from Electimuss is also a perfect reach, but it is maybe not quite as office safe as the other ones that I talked about, because this one is a little bit stronger. It's very floral and vanillic. It has like purple florals, it has white florals, like tropical yellow florals, and there's some kind of brightness in the opening. I'm not quite sure what's in here. There might be a little bit of an incense note, some amberiness in the base. It's just a really, really beautiful feminine fragrance that anybody would like. It's been criticized because some people find it too designery, but I find like it is maybe a little bit designery, but in a niche kind of way. So I find it very the only thing is that the atomizer, and here's an example of a negative thing that I don't find that so many other influencers tell us about. The atomizers suck on these. So it was okay when I got it, but then now when I press, nothing comes out. So what I have to do, I put it into a decant with a little pump that looks like this. And sometimes these are kind of separate. So this little straw will fall into the decant. So you have to put, what I use is a little funnel like this. And therefore it doesn't fall in. And if it falls in, you just pick it out. If it falls into the decant, I have to get like a pair of tweezers and pull it out. It's really inconvenient. But so I'm actually being able to use the juice from this, but it's a shame not to be able to use this pretty bottle. But that's how I'm getting the juice out. But the fragrance itself is stunning. I really loved it, and I haven't regretted it. Maybe it's a little bit close to, what was it close to? I thought it was a little bit close to Opera, actually, from Xerjoff. But now, I thought that for a while, but now I'm not so sure. I find this an easier reach, and Opera's a little bit more sweet, I think. Let's see, did I mention all of these? I've talked about, oh yeah, I wanted to mention two more that I don't have full bottles of, but that would be full bottle worthy. And I used to have a bottle of this. It's called Ambergris from Balmain, and it's kind of a vintage, it's a discontinued fragrance, but I just wanted to mention it because I find it to be the perfect fragrance. And the reason I have it in decants, I have like 3 decants of it now because the bottle, something started to happen to the cap, like around the cap. It started to sort of deteriorate and it started to give off some kind of a sour smell. And I thought it affected the perfume, so I just decided to trash the bottle and save the juice in decants instead. But it's a really beautiful, easy, ambery, woody fragrance with some tropical florals in there and also a little bit of saltiness. And of course, it's called Ambergris, so it has Ambergris. It's just such a perfect, easy reach. I would love to get another backup bottle of this because This is so easy to wear. And like everyone that tries it here at my house, they just love it. And it's just such a perfect, it's just a perfect fragrance. And I haven't been able to find one like it. And then I also wanted to mention something that doesn't really fall into the category of the fragrances that I've already mentioned, but that I do reach for a lot. And I would consider a full bottle at a discounted price. It's from Amouage Material, created by Cecile Sorokian. This is like an ambery kind of balsamic fragrance with a little oud. Maybe I would describe it more like a spicy vanilla, because it doesn't go like all the way. I was thinking, it reminds, if you go in Fragrantica, under the section reminds me of, there are like so many fragrances mentioned here. Like it's not unique. It's not unique, but I find that it is different than, for example, say Rosendo Mateu number 7, which is like an oud patchouli vanilla fragrance. That's a lot heavier. It's heavier on the oud. It's heavier on the patchouli. This is lighter. This is lighter. It's not as much of a beast mode fragrance, and therefore I find it easier to reach for it. So if I could see this at a discounter, I could definitely consider getting a bottle of Material. Anyway, I've been thinking a little bit about, the name of my channel. I don't know if I consider myself a reviewer anymore, because, if you are a reviewer of food or restaurants, concerts, plays, books, whatever, you don't all of a sudden change your mind and say that, oh, by the way, that book that I reviewed 2 years ago, I don't like it anymore. And the same with other kinds of, critics. That's not what they do. They kind of stand by their word, and combined with the word honest makes it a little bit hard, because I know that like things that I wore 2 years ago, some of them I can no longer wear, and I definitely don't recommend them anymore. So I'm thinking of, maybe another name for my channel would be more appropriate. I could maybe call it, Perfume Talk, or I don't know. I'm kind of thinking about it, because I don't really, I'm kind of sharing my journey as I'm learning about perfume. I'm sharing with you what my nose is kind of going through. Also, I like to share, like advice on, not spending too much, not collecting too much, to kind of, the psychological part of maybe building a big collection and getting hooked on spending. That can be really negative, like to try to be like, share what works for me. And then, of course, also point out, I know someone said that I've become a little bit too judgy in my latest videos. And I do actually, I'm listening to you for sure. I don't want to be, that person who's always pointing to someone else saying that they're doing the wrong thing. But this is my channel. And I do, of course, express things that I think are wrong in the fragrance community, like that it is hard to find information that is completely neutral and objective. I mean, my information is, of course, only my personal taste, and I'm not trained in perfumery, but these are my opinions. No one else is making a profit from what I'm saying, or, selling anything. I don't have any links to something. I don't even say, give this video a huge thumbs up and, subscribe and like, and I just get to the point, and this is the kind of channel that I want, and I wish there were more of this kind of content. If they have this exact same taste or not is maybe not super important, because I can learn from listening to reviewers talk about fragrances that I don't like as well. Or, like I know that I might, I know that I sometimes hear from you guys that you're intrigued by some of the negative things that I say about fragrances. Like when I reviewed Gaia from, what house was that? That was from Centauri, I think, that it smells like a wet, damp cave with kind of a mushroomy, soily kind of vibe. And several people were interested, when I said that. So it doesn't have to be, if I said something negative, people are going to not buy it. And if I say something positive, they can hear by what I'm saying that, okay, that's nothing for me. Like I don't think that this is for a person that doesn't like florals. It's full of florals. So I guess the taste is not so important to me, that we have the exact same taste, but I think that there are no like hidden strings attached like this. There's collaborations going on in the background that I'm not aware of. That's what I really don't like. So I'm still kind of on the hunt. I always like to, I did get some recommendations, and I'm going to check these reviewers out. So thank you very much. I very much also like to hear from you guys, which are your go-tos? Which are your easy reaches? The ones that you recommend, like this is definitely full bottle worthy because you know the versatility, or I can wear it anywhere, everybody likes it, it works all the time, I never get bored of it, you know, that kind of fragrances. Which are your fragrances in that category? Well, that was all for today. Okay, guys, bye bye.